Pandemonium reigns.
Imagine a couple gets engaged in front of a packed room. There's tears, applause, Instagram is blowing up. The ring, it's expensive. The promise, that's forever. And over the next year, the wedding gets planned. The venue gets booked. The food gets ordered. The dress is tailored. Guests begin to mark their calendars off. People talk about how beautiful it's going to be. But then, a week before the big day, the groom vanishes. No explanation, no warning, nowhere to be found. And the bride is left in the chapel alone. The guests are confused. The vendors want their money. And the wedding that everybody dreamed of never happens. That's what Nico's departure feels like. 5-star commitment, the public promise, the future of the program, the investment with it was there. The commitment, at least on one end, was there. It was obviously not there on another end. My name's Dan. This is Pandemonium Reigns, and I really want to, for one, thank you for hanging out with me and talking over this situation. Had a lot of time to consider this and kind of think through it and all these things. And obviously, we're days removed from this point, and people are already starting to point out or create lists of who is going to, who's Tennessee going to grab out of the portal, and where is Nico's next landing spot, and all these things. Everybody's already moving, to the next conversation. But I wanted some time to sit on this before sitting down and pressing record. And the more that I thought through this, initially, once the whole thing ended and the dust cleared, I thought Tennessee and the university walked out winners of this whole thing. And I want to talk through that. Again, thank you for tuning in. I would really, really appreciate it if you hit like, if you hit subscribe, follow us anywhere you can get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those places. Who are the winners and the losers of this whole Nico Iamaleava saga? Well, for one, the winner right now is any Tennessee fan because they never have to say again, Iamaleava. Never have to do it, but that's beside the point. Let's talk about first the losers of this whole thing. First, it's the Tennessee football program. Spring practice is done. There's no clear QB1. It's probably Jake Merklinger. Although there's some out there who are going to say, well, my gosh, George McIntyre had a good day. And I would say to you, there was about 45 players who didn't dress. 45. And don't hang your hat on a spring game. So there was no real chance. There was no real time to find a proven replacement before spring game, before spring. The next thing for us is going to be summer camp, and we're not going to know who that guy is. And some have even considered, the questions forming around the culture and the stability of the program. I don't think that's an issue. So I don't think that makes Tennessee football, a loser in this scenario. The real blow is 9.5 was the over-under on the season going in with Nico. It's dropped to 8.5. Now, you still have to play the game, so you have no idea what's going to take place from here on out. Jake Merklinger could be that dude. And I hope he is, because he's got a great last name for all kinds of great commentary. People are already calling him Jake Merkslinger, and I really like that one. But we don't know. This is something at this point, especially for Josh Heupel, who's several years in, for who we all thought Nico was going into year 2 of his time in the Tennessee as a starter, I should say. Obviously, year 3. So Tennessee football, we're losers. The football program is a loser in this situation. Okay, I know that sounds strong. Loser is a strong word, but hear me out as I navigate through the rest of this. Nico, also a loser in this. Tennessee has a chance to bounce back. Nico, man, that's going to be tough. The real win here coulda, woulda, shoulda been him going to do a press conference and say, listen, that was a wrong move. I shouldn't have done that. I've sought wise counsel up until this point. we're going to stay with the original contract. Tennessee has been good to me. Let's move forward. Let's get ready for Syracuse. Problem is that you haven't done that, and you ticked off the one fan base that you don't want to tick off. I mean, you're going to have. All right, so Nico's down to supposedly 3 schools already, which is mind blowing. Now, this could be he said, she said stuff, but the 3 schools being thrown out are North Carolina, Tulane, and UCLA. In my mind, UCLA makes the most sense, but that's not the road that we're going to go down today. Let's say he goes North Carolina or Tulane. You're going to have Tennessee Vol fans travel to games where they know he's playing and just root against him. You've ticked off the wrong fan base. And now, I mean, those are the potential landing spots. I mean, how is he not seen as a flight risk? How is he not seen as greedy? And even if Nico comes out and says, hey, I didn't handle that well, his dad's was the biggest part of the problem. Dad's made a bold statement on Twitter, and boy, did that backfire. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this episode's probably not for you. All right. He leaves Tennessee without much on-field production to stand on. 19 touchdowns. And he was wanting more money on 19 touchdowns. His next move is going to be uncertain. You know, I'll be surprised if it's even something as big as North Carolina. Does he go G5 and play immediately? Does he go Power 4? And what are his options going to be? This is, and what blows my mind about this whole thing is I've played this out in my head multiple times. If this is my child, I'm telling him, son, do the work now. Hang on. You're pocketing $2 million every year. Work on your craft, and if you make it to the pros, this is going to be chump change because your ceiling is outrageous. You are an elite talent. Don't focus on money. Don't focus on this. Let's focus on, getting to, where you ultimately want to be, and we can figure out how to work with $8 million, right? But I have to, when it comes time for him to enter the draft and go to the combine and be interviewed over and over and over again, he's going to be asked, hey, where were you that Friday? What were you thinking? What was that conversation like between you and your dad? Hey, supposedly, Coach Heupel and other staff tried to get a hold of you. What were you doing? He's going to have to answer these things. And either he's going to have to tell the truth and own it up and put things on the table, or he's going to lie through his teeth. And truth be told, I really hope that it's the first. I really hope that he starts to take ownership for this, because I think he is a likable kid. He's an elite talent, but there's just really no way that he comes out a winner in this situation. The other losers, the fans. Where do we think the NIL money comes from? Now, I get it. I know that, some places like Tennessee and Texas, they've got deep pockets because of this, that, and the other, gas stations and oil companies and whatever. None of that matters, though, if there's no butts in the seats, if there's no eyes watching the screen come fall football Saturdays. The fans are the ones who invested into this next golden arm. Time, money, energy, hope. Something that all college football fans have in common: not money, not time, but we all have hope and energy, right? And we've all invested that. Tennessee fans, since that round 1 loss to Ohio State, have been looking forward to the 2025 season and thinking about which game am I going to, what gear am I getting, what's next. So now, for the fan, we were all blindsided. And so we're looking at this Nico situation, and now we're looking at the NCAA going like, hey, can you get a hold of this thing? Because this is out of control. We're possibly concerned about the NIL promises and the program direction. The fans, the talking point on spring game Saturday on orange and white game day was not even about the game, which it wasn't a game, it was an open practice. It was about Nico, who's not even on this team anymore. This sport is not what it was. You've got to regulate this stuff. This was a. Let me transition into my other loser, Mark Emmert in the NCAA. This was your opportunity to get a hold of this thing, to step in and do something sensible, But no, you whiffed again. And now, because of all this madness, and there's no regulation to it, you just said, free market, do whatever you want. Fans are the one paying the price, and we're looking at you. We're not even, I would like to think that the sensible fan is not necessarily looking at Nico so much as it is the NCAA and Mark Emmert. Hey, eyes are on you, pal. What are you going to do about this? Is revenue sharing going to fix this? Man, I sure hope so, and I really hope that's right around the corner. All right, now who are the winners in the situation? I think right off the bat, Jake Merklinger. Because this fan base, which is so passionate and driven and outspoken and will sell their soul, they're behind Jake Merklinger. They are all about Jake Merklinger right now. So the sudden void, the sudden gap, it's got to be Jake Merklinger. Why is it not so much George McIntyre? Don't want to get in that too much. Obviously, he's the higher touted. He was heavier. More heavily recruited, supposedly the more elite talent. This is Jake's second year in the system. He's going to know more. It's not about what you can do in this sport. It's about what you know. With what you can do with what you know. Not just what you can do. Here's the ball. That was more Cordarrelle Patterson. Hey, he's down there somewhere. Let's just throw it. So you've got this sudden void, and it's got to be Jake Merklinger or any potential QB that's going to enter, the portal. I saw Vol Twitter, spent some time on that the other night, and the memes and stuff are already out on Avery Johnson, and that just blows my mind. So Jake Merklinger, he's the winner. Who else is the winner in this? This is the one that irks me. This is the one that bothers me the most. Every other party not directly involved. So the rest of the conference, the rest of the country, Oregon benefited, and Dan Lanning benefited big time from this. So your Georgias, your Bamas, your Floridas, your South Carolinas, they're all going to benefit from this whole scenario. Now, they're all looking at this going, hey, way to go. Way to handle that. But this was a lose-lose for us. Lose-lose for us. Yes, we did the right thing. Yes, the right decision was made. Yes, as a fan, I'm looking at Heupel going, thank you for what you did. That was the right decision. Don't let somebody be bigger than the program. However, that doesn't make us a winner in the situation. At this point in time, all we're really doing is looking at the situation going, we are living up to our brand, our name as the Volunteers. Hey, we're not going to do this. And since then, guys like Mario Cristobal have followed suit. And obviously, Tony Vitello has come out and said, hey, not here, not Tennessee. So now you've got all these other places that can look up and say, yep, not us either. But they're on the front end of it. It could be preventative for them. This is reactive now for us. So anybody on our schedule is benefiting from this. I mean, because boom. And it's not that he's injured. Not that he's sick. Gone. There is no timetable for his return. He is done in Orange. The national media was also winners of this thing. This drama just fueled talking points. Podcasts, radio shows. It's gold. It's gold content. Anybody who runs this kind of content is benefiting from the drama between Nico and the University of Tennessee. So there's winners here and there's losers here, and I really just don't think we were the winners in this situation. I think we made the right decision. We were basically forced to pick our poison, and I think we picked the right poison. And I really hope it bodes well for us going forward, and maybe this narrative of what I'm talking to you now about, of us being on the losing end of this, will change, and there's more, down the road that I can't quite see yet that will unravel, and it will be, holy crap, man, did we benefit from that? But as of right now, I mean, pretty hard to say that, and this sucks. This really sucks. And I tell you what really ticks me off about this is the question of, was he ever really bought in? Now, let me just say this before I say anything else. I liked Nico. What are my words? Do I like Nico? I don't think I have a problem with Nico. I have a problem with his daddy. I have a problem with the NCAA. When you flash that kind of money in front of an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid, I mean, how else do you expect them to react? I've been pastoring teenagers from 6th grade to 12th grade for, 17, 18, 19 years now. Long time. And recently started a young adult ministry. So I'm familiar with this age group. You put that kind of money in front of adults, you put that kind of in front of me, 38 years old, who doesn't normally have it. How can I get more? How can I get some more? So what bothers me is, was he ever really bought into this? Was he ever really bought into the University of Tennessee? And I'm telling you what really just pisses me off is, was it about a year ago when we were going to court for this whole, the NCAA was like, oh, you're paying to play. No. We're living by your regulations. And, it was the whole thing with Nico. So you got that. We just went to court for you, right? Which, again, living up to the volunteer name and everybody else benefiting from the skin off of our back. And we're out $2 million. $2 million from the 23 season where we paid you to sit behind Joe and learn the offense and be ready. Yes, you were a big part in helping us defeat Iowa in that bowl game. Thank you for that. But that's not worth $2 million. And then we paid you another $2 million to go 19 touchdowns and 5 picks. And most of your touchdowns were not worth big brand names. There's a couple of throws that stick out in my mind, most prominently the one right over the middle, like on a freaking roped laser to Dante Thornton that really separated that game for us. There's one against UTC. Your talent and your ability and your ceiling is through this roof, but my gosh, I cannot believe we paid you for that. And now you have the audacity to come back and say you want more. You want it. Not only did you want more, you want to double basically what you were already getting. So all that said, those are my thoughts. I think there's winners in this situation, and I think there's losers in this situation. And I don't think the University of Tennessee football program is one of them. The baseball program, the basketball program, sure, because it's all, again, reactive or proactive for them at this point. But you also have to lump, all those other schools in as well. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I would love to know your thoughts. Drop those in the comments. Make sure you give us a follow. Sorry that we've been out for a while. Life has just been crazy. My daughter is starting sports soon. A lot of things going on with my work and with Michael's work. Michael's in a new house. He just bought a new house. So make sure you send him a housewarming gift. Love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Dan. This is Pandemonium Reigns. God bless and go Vols.
Pandemonium reigns.